Hello everybody, welcome back to Green Avatar. My name is Ivy, and today we're doing a special video. So I'm going to do some special videos when we get like important transits, like what is happening this week. This week is going to be very important, so I thought I better come on and kind of help to explain what's going on, and I will do another one, not next week, the week after, because we have the Eclipse in Gemini, and then I will see when I do another one. I will see. But yeah, I thought I would come on and do this pick card special and just talk a bit about what is going on, because this week in particular is going to be very important. So let's get into it. Okay. So where are we? Today is the 20th. Okay, here we go. This is where we are at. So this is going to be a very important week for everyone. This is going to be a really collective energy. It's going to be really, this is going to be a really hard and tough week here in New Zealand. We're already, what's today, Tuesday? So we're already like 2 days into the week, but as we get into tomorrow and the rest, towards the end of the week, things are going to start to kick off. So it's going to be a bit of a ride. So on Sunday, last Sunday, the Sunday that has been, on the 23rd, Saturn went retrograde. It went retrograde at 13 degrees of Aquarius, and that's going to retrograde until October the 11th here in New Zealand. I think it's October the 12th if you live in America, and that will be at 6 degrees of Aquarius. So, this retrograde during this time, especially as we go into the eclipses, and then we have Mercury retrograde at the end of the week, it's going to be really intense. It's going to be really insane. There's going to be a lot going to be kind of popping off this week. Saturn retrograding is quite nice, actually. It's kind of reminding you, or kind of asking you to take a pause, right? Or take a step back and reanalyze the plan, right? Reanalyze where you've been. Kind of like looking at things and going, okay, right, I've taken all of this action. I've made all of these, important decisions. Cool. Now what, right? Now what? Now what do I do? Am I happy with the progress I've made? If I'm not, okay, so what can I change? Saturn is going to be, bringing up these themes for us. And we have them every year, right? We have Saturn go retrograde every single year. And it kind of is like, cool, off you go and do things, go and do things. And then when he comes into retrograde, he's like, okay, like, I'm tired now. It's time for a break. It's time for a pause. It's time for a bit of reflection time. It's time to kind of go within and look at things and review things and go, okay, so look at all the progress I've made in the last 6 months. Cool. I don't quite like that. Let's have a little think with that and see how we can, make that more agreeable to me, right? And where I want to go and my vision moving forward. Because this really is a time for us to kind of sit there and go, okay, let's make little transitions. And this is really important because this is really kind of highlighting the energy and the kind of play-by-play that's going to be happening not only this week but next week as well. And so that is going to be really like important. The eclipse is kind of helping to, the eclipse is happening tomorrow on the 26th, on Wednesday the 26th. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's happening on the 26th. I've checked, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So the eclipse is at 5 degrees of Sagittarius. So anywhere you have 5 degrees is going to 5 degrees or anywhere between 1 degree and, well, yeah, 1 degree and 9 or 10 degrees. Anywhere between that range, this is really going to spark you off. It's going to really kind of illuminate a lot as well. This eclipse is happening at, when is the full moon? It's at 11:13 p.m. here in New Zealand. That's New Zealand's standard time. It's at 11:13 in the morning, GMT. It's at 4:13 if you live in LA, in America. What's that? The East Coast, West Coast? I can never remember. And if you live in New York or you live that side of the country, it's at around 7 in the morning, 7:13 in the morning. So, this is, you know, some of you are going to be able to see the eclipse, some of you aren't. Here in New Zealand, we're going to get a great view of it, but the weather's not looking that good, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it tomorrow. I'm a little like, oh, I'm a little disappointed, but if it happens, it happens. I hope the rain is a little more important right now, but what can you do, right? So this eclipse is really highlighting a lot of secrets. This is really going to expose a lot of things that have been hidden. It's really going to ignite and spark things in regards to things that really haven't taken off, right? It's going to prompt a lot of release, this eclipse, especially in regards to unrequited crushes, things to do with, I don't know, anything where you really things haven't either started to take off or things like haven't shown any improvement or any progress. This is the time to kind of look at that, review it and go, I don't think that's going to work anymore. Maybe I need to cut my losses and move on, right? And move on to something else. And so there is going to be a lot of loss during this eclipse. And eclipse, you know, this is gonna go on until the 10th of June, when we have the new moon eclipse, which is the solar eclipse in Gemini, and that's, you know, that's gonna change things and bring in new things. But during this time, you know, we're gonna get a lot revealed to us, things that we didn't know or things that we kind of have been suspecting will finally be like confirmed during this eclipse. There's a lot of information that's just kind of gonna be like thrown out towards you. It's not a bad thing. It's stuff that you're meant to know when you're meant to know, and this is when you're meant to know it. Things that you kind of have had an inkling about, but you really have been kind of like, oh, I don't know. You're going to find out, right? You're going to find out, you're going to get confirmation, you're going to be like, okay, so now that I know, now what? Right? This is also like with all of this information and all of this stuff kind of coming to light, it's going to prompt a lot of wanting to take action. I would kind of try and tie ho on that. I would try and like pull back from that and wait until the new moon eclipse on June 10th, and then go for it then. Only because the energy is, you know, going to be ripe during that eclipse in Gemini. But there's just so much information going around right now. There's so much information coming to light right now. A lot of exposing, a lot of like surprise, you know, confirmations. And, you know, that's very interesting because at the end of the week on the 30th, on the 30th, I think it's the 29th for those of you that live in America. But here in New Zealand, it's on the 30th. Mercury then goes retrograde, and that's on Sunday. Yes, that's on Sunday. So here it is. That's the 24 degrees of Gemini. And so this is, you know, this is another thing that kind of reveals things. It kind of, you know, it gives out information about things we didn't, you know, we'd be suspecting. It also brings people back, right, from our past, opportunities from our past back to revisit, to revise, to review, right, to remember, to, you know, all those words, right? It's a Mercury retrograde, so words, re. And so there's just a lot going on in the energy right now, and it's going to be really intense, and there's going to be a lot of arguments, and there's going to be, you know, a lot of information brought to the light, and there's going to be a lot of wanting to move forward. But it's important that we kind of pull back from that and hold on and not really do that yet. 2 days after that eclipse as well, on the 29th, Venus squares Neptune. My gosh. So this Venus square Neptune, this is really making us a little disillusioned, right? It's going to kind of make us kind of wear those rose-tinted glasses, even momentarily. It's going to make us not exactly, it's going to make us change our tastes as well. So for the next, you know, I wouldn't radically decide to go and dye my hair or get a haircut or buy new clothes during this this aspect, at least for the week, at least until the eclipse, at least, while that energy is pretty hot. Because you're going to buy these things, we're going to do these things, and then once the energy wears off, you're going to end up with regrets and going, what was I thinking? It sounds great at the time, but kind of hold back, at least, you know, for a week or so, as that energy kind of winds back, kind of falls away, and then you kind of take the rose-tinted glasses off, and you don't have regrets on a you know, a haircut you're like suddenly don't like, or you've dyed it a different color and you're like, what was I thinking? This color's terrible on me, right? So just watch out for that. On the 29th, which will be the 28th if you live in America, Mercury is going to conjunct Venus. So this Mercury Venus conjunction happens right before we have Mercury retrograde. And so these two are going to come together, and again, it's another communication aspect, especially in regards to relationships. So if you've been crushing on that person and you've been kind of wondering if they like you, you're going to find out this week. You're going to find out, especially around the 29th, you're going to find out. You're going to get communication coming from an ex, or from, you know, someone you have thought about recently that you haven't seen in a while. This is the time where you may kind of get a lot reacquainted with people from your past. Again, not innately bad, but just something to be aware of. What else do we got? I think that's all. I think that's about it. I think that's about wrapping up what's going on for this week, right? It's pretty intense. There's a lot of energy here. There's a lot of releasing, like release, right? There's a lot of truth coming to light. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of it's just going to be a little intense. Also with that emotional aspect as well. You know, emotionally it's going to be pretty confusing. It's going to be really intense, right? I saw recently, I watched recently, I think it was later this morning, I heard this reference to this week. It's almost as though, you know, people are, their personal, it's almost like the house is up in flames, right? And people are uncomfortable because the house is on fire. The house is on fire. What do I got to do? Because structures are going to kind of collapse, right? This is like a tower moment week for a lot of people. And so, you know, people are going to be snippy. They're going to be like attacking. They're going to be aggressive, right? They're going to be like emotions all over the place, crying one minute and you know, moody next minute, and you're like, I don't understand what's wrong with these people. They're like angry, and then they're happy, and then they're sad, and then they're, you know, it's just the energy of the week, right? It's really intense. It's gonna come up in waves, like up and down and up and down and up and down. And it's just like, we just got to try and navigate this week the best we can, really. Yeah, like, it's just one of those weeks, guys. So kind of try and keep grounded, try and stay really grounded this week. I think the only things that are really in Earth right now, well, the only really stabilizing thing that we have is Pluto. Because Pluto's in Capricorn. That's about it. Everything else is either in water, fire, or air. Not very stable, not very stabilizing things. And yes, while Uranus is in Taurus, it's about unexpected changes, so you're not going to get much stability from that. So it's just going to be one of those weeks. Like, the moon will go into I can tell you this. The moon will go into Capricorn later on in the week. If I can find it. Where is this eclipse? In Sagittarius. Here we go. The moon will go into Capricorn on the 28th. At about, what's that, 2:25 in the afternoon here in New Zealand. And then it goes into Aquarius on the 30th at about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So, I mean, the moon is not exactly at really nice places this week either. It's in Capricorn. It hates being in Capricorn. It's in its fall. It's going to be depressed. It's a depressed moon, let's be honest. It's in Capricorn. When it goes into Aquarius, it's going to be a little bit more uplifting. It's not going to be as heavy, but it's still it's you know, it's like coming through the wave and up again, right? It's just going to be one of those weeks. The moons don't even make nice aspects this week either. The Scorpio moon yesterday made a really nice aspect. It was a sextile to Pluto, but the rest of them, they don't have nice aspects at all. The Sagittarius moon has a opposition to Mercury. The Capricorn moon makes a, what's that? A conjunction to Pluto. I don't even know if that's a nice aspect, to be honest. It's going to go either way. I mean, it's a nice aspect. It's just, it's one of those polarizing ones. It's only going to go one way or the other. So, I mean, you know, it's just going to be one of those weeks where emotionally we're going to be all over the place. It's going to be one of those weeks where there's going to be a lot of shocks. So it's going to be really important that we ground this week. So try and keep yourself grounded, guys. Okie pokey. Oh, wow, that was a lot. So hopefully you found this helpful, kind of decompartmentalizing the week, because it is going to be a really important week. It's something that we all should be aware of. So if you liked this kind of content, just kind of like let me know in the comments. So this is what I've got for you guys for this special. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Facebook. I will leave a link in the description below. I'm actually posting on Instagram now, so if you want extra content, it's on Instagram. I post there in the mornings before I start stuff, and I post weeklies on Facebook. I didn't post one for this week because, believe it or not, the beginning of the week is not being conducive to making videos, which is why I'm posting this, which is why I filmed this at night, because this is probably the best time of the day for me to make a video, ironically. So yeah, this is what I've got for you guys. Stay safe out there, guys. Ground, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.